Have you ever witnessed a moment so simple, yet so powerful, that it changed the way you looked at people forever? Imagine walking into a room expecting nothing more than another interview. Your heart is racing. Your thoughts are scattered. You're wondering if you'll say the right thing, if the audience will like you, or if this appearance will become another forgotten moment in your career. Then suddenly, before you even reach the stage, something unexpected happens. A hallway comes alive. People you've never met are clapping for you. They're singing your name. They're smiling as if they've been waiting all day just to celebrate your arrival. There are no cameras demanding perfection, no rehearsed speeches, no pressure to perform, just pure joy, pure energy, pure acceptance. Within seconds, the nervous expression on your face disappears. Your shoulders relax. Your smile becomes real. Without even realizing it, you're dancing. You're laughing. You're feeling something many people rarely experience in today's world. You feel genuinely welcomed. It sounds almost too simple to matter. But sometimes the smallest gestures create the biggest transformations. And that is exactly how one ordinary hallway became one of the most unforgettable traditions in modern television. Millions of viewers know it today as the Spirit Tunnel, a place where celebrities dance, where strangers become family, where fear quietly disappears before a single interview even begins. But here's what most people never realized. The Spirit Tunnel wasn't created by a room full of television executives trying to invent the next viral sensation. There wasn't a $1 million brainstorming session. No marketing agency designed it. No expensive production company predicted that millions of people around the world would eventually fall in love with a hallway. In fact, it wasn't supposed to exist at all. Its beginning was almost invisible. And maybe that's exactly why it became unforgettable. Because the greatest moments in life are rarely manufactured. They're discovered long before millions of viewers were sharing clips across social media. Long before famous actors, musicians, athletes, and world leaders danced through that hallway. Before the headlines. Before the applause. Before the internet crowned it one of daytime television's happiest traditions. There was simply a group of ordinary people who wanted every guest to feel like they belonged. That was it. No hidden agenda. No grand strategy. Just kindness. The kind of kindness that's becoming increasingly rare. The kind that asks for nothing in return. When Jennifer Hudson began building her daytime talk show, she had one vision that mattered more than ratings. She wanted people to feel something. Not just while watching the show, but while living inside it. Every producer, every camera operator, every makeup artist, every assistant, every security guard, every member of the staff contributed to creating an atmosphere where no one felt like a stranger. That culture wasn't written inside an employee handbook. It wasn't enforced through meetings or company policies. It naturally grew from Jennifer herself. After everything she'd experienced throughout her remarkable life, the victories, the heartbreaks, the unimaginable personal losses, and the extraordinary comeback, she understood something that many successful people eventually forget. Fame can impress people. Success can inspire people. But kindness changes people. That belief quietly shaped every corner of her show. Even the spaces the cameras rarely focused on. One of those places happened to be a simple hallway connecting backstage to the studio. Most television viewers never think about hallways. They're designed for one purpose: getting people from one room to another. Nothing more. Yet this ordinary corridor would soon become the emotional heart of an entire television show. In the beginning, there was no name for it. No special lighting. No carefully choreographed dances. Guests simply arrived backstage, preparing themselves for another interview. Some looked confident. Others seemed distracted. Many carried the invisible weight that public figures often hide behind carefully practiced smiles. Even celebrities get nervous. Even award winners have moments of self-doubt. Even people who seem larger than life sometimes wonder whether they're enough. That's something audiences often forget. Behind every famous face is still a human being. One carrying worries, no different from anyone else's. Jennifer Hudson noticed this almost immediately. She watched guests walking toward the stage. Some barely spoke. Others stared quietly at the floor. A few rehearsed answers inside their heads. They weren't preparing for a performance. They were preparing to be judged. Every interview carries pressure. Every appearance creates expectations. Every camera magnifies emotion. But something remarkable began happening without anyone planning it. Members of the production crew naturally gathered along the hallway. One person started clapping. Another joined in. Someone else smiled and shouted a cheerful welcome. Soon another employee added a little dance. Someone began singing. Before long, the entire hallway felt alive. Nobody instructed them to do it. Nobody handed them choreography. Nobody assigned roles. It simply happened. One act of encouragement inspired another. Then another. Then another. The guests' reactions were immediate. People who entered looking tense suddenly burst into laughter. Some instinctively clapped along. Others couldn't stop smiling. Even the most reserved personalities found themselves moving to the rhythm without thinking about it. It wasn't because anyone expected them to dance. It was because genuine joy is contagious. Scientists have spent decades studying emotional contagion, the fascinating way human beings unconsciously mirror the emotions surrounding them. Smile at someone sincerely, and they often smile back. Laugh wholeheartedly, and others begin laughing too. Fill an environment with authentic positivity, and even the most anxious person begins feeling safe. The hallway had accidentally become living proof of something psychologists had understood for years. Human emotions spread faster than words. The production team started noticing something else. The interviews themselves were changing. Guests who danced through the hallway didn't just arrive smiling. They stayed smiling. Instead of beginning conversations cautiously, they opened up naturally. Stories became more personal. Laughter came more easily. Emotional moments felt genuine rather than forced. Walls came down before the first question had even been asked. The transformation happened in less than 60 seconds. Think about that. Entire therapy sessions can take hours. Motivational speeches last far longer. Yet sometimes, less than 1 minute of feeling accepted can completely change someone's emotional state. Jennifer Hudson watched this unfold again and again. She realized something extraordinary was happening. The hallway wasn't entertaining people. It was healing them, even if only for a few moments. Because feeling celebrated without having to earn it is incredibly rare. Most applause comes after achievement, after winning, after succeeding, after proving yourself. But this applause came first. Before the interview, before the performance, before anyone had done anything. The message was beautifully simple. You're welcome because you're here. Not because you're famous. Not because you're successful. Not because of awards. Not because of popularity. Simply because you're a person deserving of kindness. Imagine how different the world might feel if more places operated that way. No conditions. No comparisons. No competition. Just acceptance. As weeks turned into months, word quietly spread throughout the entertainment industry. Guests began hearing whispers before arriving. You have to experience that hallway. It'll completely change your mood. You'll understand once you're there. Many assumed the stories were exaggerated. How could walking through a hallway become the highlight of a television appearance? Then they experienced it for themselves. And suddenly, they understood. Some danced harder than anyone expected. Others laughed until tears filled their eyes. A few became visibly emotional, overwhelmed by a level of warmth they hadn't anticipated. Every reaction was different, yet every reaction was real. Authenticity cannot be scripted. That's why audiences immediately recognized it. In an age overflowing with carefully edited moments, rehearsed reactions, manufactured drama, and viral content engineered for clicks, the spirit tunnel felt refreshingly human. Viewers weren't falling in love with perfect choreography. They were falling in love with imperfect joy. And perhaps that's exactly what made it unforgettable. If you watched closely, there was one detail that almost everyone missed. It wasn't the music. It wasn't the dancing. It wasn't even the celebrities. The real magic of the spirit tunnel lived somewhere much deeper. It lived in the expressions people wore before they stepped inside, and the completely different faces they carried when they walked out. That transformation became impossible to ignore. Day after day, episode after episode, the same pattern repeated itself. A guest would arrive looking serious. Their body language would reveal everything they were trying to hide. Their shoulders slightly tense. Their smile polite but restrained. Their eyes quietly scanning the unfamiliar environment. Then the celebration would begin. The hallway would erupt with applause. Voices would rise together in joyful chants. Hands would clap in rhythm. Staff members would dance without worrying how they looked. No one cared about appearing cool. No one worried about being judged. Everyone focused on one thing: making another human being feel important. And within moments, something remarkable happened. The guest stopped observing the celebration and became part of it. The nervous smile turned genuine. The cautious steps became confident. Laughter replaced hesitation. It wasn't unusual to see world-famous entertainers dancing alongside production assistants they had met only seconds earlier. Status disappeared. Titles disappeared. Awards disappeared. Inside that hallway, everyone existed on the same level. For just a brief moment, there were no celebrities. There were only people. That simple truth resonated far beyond the studio walls. Television audiences could feel it through the screen. And that's something no expensive production can fake. People often believe viewers fall in love with spectacle. Bigger stages, brighter lights, more dramatic performances. But history tells a different story. The moments that remain unforgettable are usually the ones filled with authentic emotion. A father hugging his child after years apart. An athlete embracing a defeated opponent. A stranger helping another stranger without expecting recognition. These moments stay with us because they remind us who we are capable of becoming. The spirit tunnel belonged in that same category. It wasn't remarkable because of what happened. It was remarkable because of what it represented. Hope, acceptance, joy, community. As clips from the hallway began appearing online, something unexpected happened. People who had never watched Jennifer Hudson's show suddenly became curious. They weren't searching for celebrity interviews. They weren't looking for breaking news. They wanted to watch people smile. Think about how unusual that is. Millions of videos compete for attention every single day. Most rely on shock, conflict, controversy, fear, outrage. Yet here was a collection of short videos showing nothing more than people dancing through a hallway. And millions couldn't stop watching. Why? Because happiness had become rare enough to feel surprising. Every viral clip carried the same invisible message. This is what genuine joy looks like. It wasn't polished. Sometimes guests missed the rhythm. Sometimes they laughed too hard to keep dancing. Sometimes they looked embarrassed before giving in and joining everyone else. Those imperfections made every moment believable. Audiences didn't want perfection. They wanted honesty. Social media quickly filled with comments from viewers around the world. Some wrote that the videos brightened difficult days. Others admitted they watched the clips whenever they felt anxious. Teachers shared them with students. Families watched them together. Healthcare workers played them during long shifts. People from completely different cultures understood exactly what the hallway represented without needing anyone to explain it. Kindness requires no translation. That's one of humanity's most beautiful languages. As the popularity of the Spirit Tunnel continued growing, Jennifer Hudson remained focused on something far more important than internet numbers. She never wanted the tradition to become a performance. Because the moment people started pretending to care, the magic would disappear. Authenticity is fragile. It cannot survive ego. It cannot survive forced enthusiasm. Every member of the production team understood this responsibility. They weren't performing for cameras. They were welcoming another person into their family for the day. That mindset changed everything. Some mornings, staff members arrived tired. Like everyone else, they had responsibilities outside work. Families, challenges, personal struggles no audience would ever know about. Yet once the next guest approached the hallway, something incredible happened. They chose joy anyway. Not because life was perfect, but because someone else deserved to feel appreciated. That decision carried extraordinary power. It proved happiness isn't always something we find. Sometimes it's something we create for another person. And in the process, we create it for ourselves. Psychologists often speak about the emotional rewards of generosity. Acts of kindness don't only benefit the person receiving them, they transform the person giving them as well. Perhaps that's why the Spirit Tunnel never seemed to lose its energy. The celebration wasn't draining anyone. It was fueling everyone involved. Guests left happier. Staff members finished each episode smiling. Audiences watching from home felt lighter. Very few television traditions can honestly claim to improve the emotional state of nearly everyone connected to them. This one quietly did. As months became seasons, another beautiful pattern emerged. No two walks through the Spirit Tunnel were ever the same. Some guests entered with incredible confidence, turning the hallway into their personal dance floor. Others needed a few cautious steps before finally surrendering to the music. A few tried to resist completely. They folded their arms, smiled politely, attempted to remain composed. But the hallway had an almost irresistible quality. Soon enough, someone nearby would make eye contact, offer an encouraging clap, share a laugh, and the walls would begin falling. It happened again, and again, and again. The tunnel seemed to possess an invisible invitation. You don't have to impress anyone here. Just enjoy yourself. Many celebrities later admitted that those few seconds became their favorite memory from the entire appearance. Not the interview, not the applause from the audience, not the publicity. The hallway. Because for a brief moment, they weren't expected to entertain millions. They were simply allowed to be themselves. That freedom is surprisingly uncommon for people living constantly in the public eye. Fans often imagine fame removes loneliness. In reality, it often increases it. The more recognizable someone becomes, the fewer places exist where people interact with them naturally. Every conversation carries expectations. Every appearance becomes news. Every smile gets analyzed. Inside the Spirit Tunnel, however, those expectations disappeared. The applause wasn't celebrating celebrity. It was celebrating humanity. Jennifer Hudson understood this better than most. She knew success could open doors, but she also knew it couldn't replace genuine connection. Her own journey had taught her that applause eventually fades. Awards gather dust. Headlines disappear. What remains are the people who made you feel loved when you needed it most. Perhaps that is why she protected the culture surrounding the hallway so carefully. She understood it represented something much larger than television. It represented the world many people wished existed outside the studio. A place where encouragement arrived before judgment. Where strangers smiled first instead of looking away. Where differences became reasons to celebrate rather than reasons to divide. Little by little, the spirit tunnel stopped belonging only to the show. It became an idea. Schools began creating their own versions to welcome new students. Sports teams used similar celebrations before important games. Hospitals organized cheerful hallways for patients and healthcare workers. Communities found inspiration in a tradition that had started almost by accident. Its greatest achievement wasn't becoming famous. Its greatest achievement was reminding people that joy can spread faster than negativity if someone is willing to start it. And all it takes is one person clapping first.